It's the Brad and John Show.
John, what time is it? It's the B Block. Today's date is October 6th. And what time is it, John?
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
No, it's not.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I'm sorry, John doesn't even know what I'm playing, do you? Okay, never mind. What do we call it again, John?
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
You know, John does it so well, but he only does it once. My ladies do it twice.
It's time for Brad's.
And what do we start off with?
It's number 3.
You know, we play some best of shows here on the radio station at night and on the weekends. And one of my favorites was, not that it's me, but you and I had so much fun in this, when one of my Facebook friends, Diane McIntyre-Quitmeyer, who quite honestly I really don't know, but she's one of my Facebook friends, posted about a date. Remember this date when she was talking about she went out with the guy from Chesterfield and she knew he had no problems because financial problems because he lives in Chesterfield? So that
that's hilarious.
That makes you immune to having any financial problems.
Yeah, of course.
What happened, Brad? We both know that nobody in Chesterfield has ever declared bankruptcy, nor had a house foreclosed on them, or had a car repossessed. Or
they're all perfect lives out there,
right?
Brad.
They all have 800 plus credit scores. So I just want to mention something. 8 hours ago, she posted, just to be clear, I'm a conservative, but that doesn't mean what a lot of you apparently think it does. Let's break it down, because I'm tired of being told what I believe and what I stand for. Spoiler, not every conservative is the same, but most of us, I know, share these same principles. She gives 10 different principles, John. 10 principles.
Oh, wow. That's almost like your Super Freedom Caucus manifesto. What's on here?
I believe, this is number 1, I believe America should never depend on another country for energy protection or basic supply and demand. We're its strongest when we build, produce, and protect things right here in the USA. Number 2, I believe America must put itself first. We cannot pour from an empty cup. Our country must prioritize our own people before trying to save the world. Okay, I won't do the other 8. I'm just saying to, let me get her name straight right here again, Diane McIntyre-Quitmeyer, I'm an American, so I don't have to worry about describing myself as a Republican or conservative. I just say I'm an American. Right, John? Are you with me, John?
And that makes you better than a Chinese communist like me.
Right. Makes me so much better than that. Okay, we ready for number 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
It's time for Brad's number 2. It's time for Brad's number 2.
This is not a funny Brad's number 2. Actually, it's a tragic Brad's number 2. But there's a running joke among YouTube people that rednecks, when they're doing YouTube videos, the one thing that always precludes death is, hey, watch this. You know what I'm saying, John?
Oh, yeah. Like an incredibly dangerous and foolish stunt is about to come.
Right. This is a story out of our nation, our state to the south, Arkansas. A man was camping, and he started sending pictures of his, matter of fact, a Missouri man. I don't say where he's from, but he's a Missouri man, which beats, because that makes him better than a Florida man, but a Missouri man. He was camping, and he was taking pictures and sending them to his relatives of his campground. And one of the pictures was a big black bear. Okay? You see where this is headed, John?
I'm tracking with you.
Okay. And this is not funny. They said he was camping a campsite in Arkansas. Unfortunately, police found the 60-year-old man's body several hundred yards from his campsite near Mount Judea, Arkansas. On Thursday, the area showed signs of a struggle and had drag marks away from the camp. The man's son had asked for a welfare check because his dad hadn't touched base with him for a couple of days since sending the photos of the bear in his campground. Quote, his body has extensive injuries consistent with those expected from a large carnivore attack. That was according to the Newton County Sheriff's Department. Search efforts were still underway on Saturday to find the bear, which appeared to be a young male, those young males. Here we go with the sexual stereotypes. He's a young male.
I know. Why is it always got to be young males?
Right. Why is he eating campers up? According to the photo sent by the man, officials say they weren't sure that the bear in the photos was the one that attacked. Now, get this. Unquote, until the Arkansas Crime Lab completes the autopsy, we can't 100% say it was a bear, but everything strongly indicates it. You think? You know?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be any other sort of carnivore. I don't think an aardvark's going to do that.
Well, it could be Michael Burton could be risking life. It could be a river otter that attacked him. We don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a fair point.
Quote, we are attempting to find the bear and dispose of it so the Game and Fish Commission can test it for anything that may lead to the encounter. Okay, now here's what's interesting about it. They claim... We're going to find this paragraph. They say this hasn't happened since like the a 72-year-old Arkansas man was mauled by a black bear in early September. He later died of his injuries. Get this. Before that, the last fatal bear attack in Arkansas, guess a year, John. When was the last fatal bear attack in Arkansas? Take a guess.
Well, you started to say 1800 something, but if you hadn't said that, I would have said like 1984.
1892.
Now, I can't possibly believe that.
I can't either. I thought to myself, come on, in 2 months.
I mean, maybe that's the last documented one. Like maybe some Arkansasian got attacked and was so embarrassed that they didn't. Maybe the family was like, no, he just fell down into the creek.
He was making some moonshine, and then we heard a big boom.
Yeah, he was down in the holler, and we'd never seen him again.
We never seen him again. I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, no, hold it. So you're telling me within the last 60 days, you've had 2 fatal bear attacks, and there hasn't been one? Those are the first fatal bear attacks in Arkansas since 1892? That's
hard to believe.
That's like 100.
In a state that was once governed by Bill Clinton, right. You know there's been shadier stuff going on.
I know. You're going to give me the answer on this once again because you've never seen this movie. But have you seen the Tom Cruise movie where he plays, and this is like a biopic kind of thing, where he plays this famous guy who was the guy who flew these drug planes back and forth between Colombia and the United States? You ever seen this movie before? I can't remember. It's called
I have not.
American something or other. It's really a good movie, and there's a really funny scene in the movie where he finally gets arrested, and he's running this drug operation from some ex-army base like in Arkansas or something like that. And he finally gets arrested, and he's in the state capitol. And the attorney general, who is a woman, who supposedly it's supposedly a real enactment of what happened, is that he's in this office and there's a DEA guy and there's FBI and there's local county and they're all talking to him and he's in the office and she's going, we're going to put your butt in jail. You're never going to see the light of jail, light outside, blah, 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 blah. And her assistant pokes her head in the door, says, ma'am, there's someone on the phone. You have to take the call. And she goes, I'm busy. And she says, and the assistant says, it's Governor Clinton, who at the time was the governor of Arkansas. So she takes the call, and Tom Cruise, playing the character, is ushered out of the room with all the FBI agents. And he starts saying to them, hey, if you take these handcuffs off me, I'll buy each of you a brand new Cadillac. And they're all going like, yeah, right. There's no way you're going to see the light of day. You're going to jail for the rest of your life. Going to jail for the rest of your life. And he goes, no, I'll buy each a Cadillac, buy each a Cadillac. No, you're going to jail for the rest of your life. So the woman comes out and she says, okay, take the handcuffs off him. And they're all going, what? And he's going like, supposedly this is a true story that this guy knew Bill Clinton. And when he got arrested, when they called Bill's office and he said, let a guy go. Did you ever hear that story before?
No, I did not hear that story before,
well,
Brad.
Maybe it was Hollywoodized, but
maybe it was embellished a little. I mean, there were always there was a guy that worked in the Clinton White House that talked about Clinton's connection with drug dealers, but a lot of things in his book were eventually disproven. So I don't know. I did love the Tom Cruise movie, and I did see the one where Dustin Hoffman played the role of Brad Hildebrand.
Thanks, John. I've never.
That was a great movie. It's like when you go to Las Vegas, counting cards. Yeah, I like the sparkly necklace.
I've never seen that movie. Can you believe that? I've never seen it.
Well, it was based on you. It probably hit a little close to home.
Okay, here we go. Number 1.
And now, big finish, Brad's number.
Guess who's back in the news big time, John?
Oh, no. My first hunch is always Mark McCloskey.
No.
But you got to smart me up. Who's back in the news?
The former Des Moines School District Superintendent.
Oh, wow. Has he been hired by Millicent Borshaid to lead St. Louis Public Schools? Because that wouldn't surprise me. Or is he going to Seattle, Tacoma, where he can lead their district?
Okay, if you know the story, let's recap the story. And there's more embellishment in the story, and the story gets even more bizarre. The guy who is the superintendent, or at least he resigned 2 weeks ago, his name is Ian something or other. What did I say his name was? Ian Roberts, okay? And he was the superintendent of the Des Moines School District. And last week, or the week before, he was pulled over, or attempted to pull over. This is more embellishment of the story. He was attempted to pull over on a traffic stop, and he fled. And what I understood was he finally stopped and got out of the car, and they arrested him. But what really happened was he led him on a semi-high-speed chase, ditched the car, ran down in some woods, and was hiding in some bushes, and they found him, okay? This is the superintendent of the Des Moines School District.
Yeah, I mean, that's conduct becoming a superintendent.
Right, who also turns out is an illegal immigrant, okay? The plot thickens. On Friday, October 3rd, the reason we couldn't talk about this Monday because it happened out yet, in response to requests from the Des Moines Register and U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley, they include a previously unreported drug trafficking charge. So the ICE and the people talk about, get this, Roberts resigned from Des Moines Public Schools on Tuesday, days after his arrest, last Tuesday, after his arrest by federal immigration authorities acting on a 2024 deportation order, which he knew about, by the way. He now faces additional federal charges for illegal firearms possessions after officers found loaded guns in his vehicle and home after his arrest. Department of Homeland Security in prior statements had referenced previously unreported criminal allegations against Roberts. In his new statement on Friday, the department disclosed additional details describing a history of criminal allegations for Roberts dating back nearly 30 years. Now, John, I'm going to ask you a question, so pay attention to this, okay? And that's a key thing. Nearly 30 years, okay? In addition to the new federal charge, according to the DHS, Roberts has faced, quote, 1996 charges in New York of forgery and drug possession with intent to deliver. A 1998 charge of unauthorized use of a vehicle in New York City, which was later dismissed. A 2012 conviction for reckless driving, unsafe operation, and speeding in Maryland. 2020 charges in New York of criminal possession of a loaded weapon outside a home of business. The list notes that one of the charges for second-degree criminal possession was, quote, inchoate, I-N-C-H-O-A-T-E. What's that mean? Do you know what that means?
Wait, E-N-C-H, I don't know what inchoate means.
Oh, wait, it gives definite. A legal term, it's inchoate, I-N-C-H-O-A-T.
I don't know what that means.
A legal term meaning the crime has been committed when the individual takes a substantial step, even if the person ultimately fails to complete the crime. A previously reported 2022 Pennsylvania conviction for unlawful possession of a loaded firearm. Okay, John, I have scoured the internet, and you are the scourer king of the internet, if there's such a thing. When did he work for the St. Louis Public Schools? Because that was in his background. He worked here in St. Louis for the St. Louis.
You're right, but Brad, I don't remember it. It was before the most recent era. It was before the Millicent Bourashade and Keisha Scarlett era.
So it was the pre-Seattle team, correct?
You're exactly right, yes.
Okay, and the interesting thing about this is the story goes on. It talks about the statement does not describe outcomes of all the cases, notably the drug possession and forgery charges. The Register, the Des Moines Register, had previously reported that a 2020 gun case stemming from an arrest by Port Authority of New York and New Jersey has been sealed by a New York state court. Why was it sealed? So the plot thickens even more. The 2022 Pennsylvania charge, which was known at the time Roberts was hired in Des Moines, resulted in a $100 fine. Okay, they knew about this 2022 charge, and they still hired him as the superintendent. Now, what's interesting about it is when we originally talked about this, and here's the statement from the DHS, Ian Andrew Roberts, a criminal illegal alien with multiple weapons charges and a drug trafficking charge, should never have been able to work around children. Hallelujah! This criminal illegal alien is now in U.S. Marshals custody and facing charges for being an illegal alien in possession of firearms. Under Secretary of Nome, ICE will continue, or as we're now calling them, NICE will continue to arrest the worst of the worst and put safety of America's children. Now, the interesting thing about it is his attorney says, hey, we don't know what's going on. And this is the attorney's quote. He says that this is much ado about nothing, and, quote, they're turning a sow's ear into a silk purse.
Ooh, that's a good biblical phrase.
He goes on to say, it seems to me by releasing this additional information where it's been out there the whole time, they're trying to put it into one document to make Dr. Roberts look dangerous. It would
who would ever think that he was, a scofflaw.
Right. It would serve
Such allegations.
Right. It would serve no purpose because at the end of the day, it's just empty claims. Now, this is what's interesting. Remember when we originally talked about this story, I watched the WHO Channel 13 interview with the school board president. Remember when I told you about that? And
Yeah,
she was
you
like,
did.
And she was like, well, we don't really know what's going on. Blah, 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 blah. Des Moines school district officials, though, have said they were not aware of the prior allegations against Roberts, whether they resulted in convictions or not, when they hired him. They also have raised concerns about a number of apparent falsehoods in Roberts' resume and background, leading the district on Friday to file suit against the search firm that proposed Roberts as a candidate for the superintendent post. John, does that sound familiar with maybe Francis Howell? Anything you might want to add on that?
Yeah, and it's also exactly the rhetorical question that you've asked, which is how does this possibly happen?
Right.
and you would think at some point, one of my favorite things is to send people, if they ask you dumb questions, to send them, there was a website called Let Me Google That For You, and you could send them the link. It would seem like most of this information was publicly available, and you wouldn't even have to work for a search term to use Google a few years ago to find out stuff about this guy.
Thank you, John Combest. I mean, you're the guy that spends his life on the internet researching stuff for johncombest.com and coming up with the stuff.
All kinds of stuff, yeah.
I mean, nowadays you can find practically anything. Now, get this. The famous one is, and this is the quote from Jackie Norris, the lady who I watched the interview on Channel 13. She said, we don't really know what happened, blah, 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 blah. Now she says, this is what she says now. Ian Roberts should have never been presented as a finalist. This is DPMS board chairman Jackie Norris. She said Friday, quote, if we knew what we knew now, he would have never been hired. No S.
Wow, what the understatement of the year.
Right.
To quote Mary Elizabeth Coleman on This Week in Missouri Politics, boy, that's the understatement of the year.
Or hold on a minute. If we're going to quote her,
play the other one.
we're going to quote her. Here we go.
I don't even know where to start from all of the things that have been said that are just wrong.
Thank you, MEC.
Oh, there she is.
MEC.
Thank you, MEC.
Because the crazy thing about it is, how does this happen?
How does it happen, Brad? And the other thing is, I would hope that if you're at one of these districts, there's somebody there that says, okay, can we actually come up with some kind of bureaucratic document called how to keep this from happening again? Like, literally, how did it happen?
Okay, I will say this, John. There is a news organization in St. Louis that has 34 reporters who are out there beating the streets 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no crack in the pavement that goes unturned. And you know that St. Louis Public Radio, stlpr.org, is going to have a huge in-depth story about Dr. Roberts' tenure at the St. Louis School District, exactly when he was hired, what he did, why he left. You know that's going to be a story. Don't you think Jason's working on that right now?
No, I just looked, and they have 4 people out covering Queer Fest.
Which is more important?
There's a handicapped veteran growing marijuana, and it's a unique public interest story.
Which is more important, John? Covering Queer Fest or finding out what Dr. Roberts did when he was working for the St. Louis Public Schools? Which is more important?
I think it's probably Queer Fest.
Now what would really be interesting was, now, again, if Brad were going to embellish the story, when the police, here's a quote, and when we searched him, he still had credit cards from the St. Louis Public School District on his body. How about that one, John?
And some Visa gift cards as well that were supposed to go to teachers.
And
I wonder how they ended up in his glove compartment.
And we had receipts from Hooters on a couple different occasions when he was working for the
Top Golf and Pappy's Smokehouse.
Right, Pappy's Smokehouse.
That's when we knew he was actually from St. Louis. They didn't know when they captured him he was from St. Louis, but he had a bunch of Pappy's gift cards.
Yeah, right. Okay. See all the fun that Jonathan Bosch and Michael Burton are missing out on. John, see all the fun they're missing out on. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's their loss, Brad.
All right, we have to take a break.